Hey there, Sun Seekers. Welcome back to Someplace Sunny, where we shine a light on mental illness and inspire hope. I'm Amy. Today we're diving into a topic that many of us struggle with, but we don't always talk about. And it's a subject that is very, very near and dear to me. It is my first diagnosis 24 years ago, and that's health anxiety. So if you've ever found yourself constantly worrying about your health, this video is for you. So let's go ahead and explore what health anxiety is and isn't, its causes, its symptoms, and how it differs from generalized anxiety. If this is something that you or someone in your life struggles with, please subscribe to the channel where we can all travel this journey of healing together.
In the sun, it's already begun. You are my one. With a simple mind, we should find some more time. We don't need to worry at all.
So what exactly is health anxiety? It's also known by a more common name of hypochondria. You've heard people be called hypochondriacs. I don't particularly like that term, and in the medical community, they have, as we grow and understand more, that they're kind of taking that away. And the reason that I don't like it, and I think that's the reason that a lot of people who struggle with it kind of don't want to deal with it or are afraid to talk about it, and it's because of the stigma that's attached to it. Whenever you're called a hypochondriac, that kind of means, in my opinion, that you're imagining things, that it's fake, right? And if you suffer from this illness and face this challenge, it's anything but fake, guys. I have been diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder, health anxiety, and generalized anxiety disorder, and this by far what is the worst to deal with. It is the hardest to overcome for me personally, and it is one that creeps up whenever you're least expecting it. So that's why I'm not really fond of that term, hypochondriac, and we generally like to call it health anxiety nowadays. So again, this is a tough one, guys. I was diagnosed with it in my late 20s, and it probably took me a couple years to get that diagnosis. At one point, I was at the ER 26 times out of a month. I would go almost every night. That's when my thoughts seemed to strike when I would start to get the physical symptoms, because that's what sucks about it. It can get so bad that it is just not thoughts in your head. Your body literally will develop symptoms of what you think you have. And that is what is so tough with this one. So even though I was going to the ER, these doctors, at the time, and mind you, it was 24 years ago. So we know a lot more about it now, but they really couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then after I did get the diagnosis, that's what sucks about this one. It takes a lot for your brain, even though trained physicians were telling me this, that this is what I had. I didn't believe them because my brain wouldn't allow me to believe them. My brain was still telling me that they're all wrong and I have something that I am dying from. And that it's tough, and it's nonstop, and it's constant. So if you're experiencing any of this now and you think that, you might have health problems, obviously you want to get them checked out, but that was the thing. If you're going and getting tested, everything's coming back okay, and you're going to the ER and everything's coming back okay, you might want to consider the fact that it's your brain telling you this, and that you may need to get a diagnosis of health anxiety. So there are several things you can look for to differentiate between the two. So the most common symptoms of health anxiety that most people experience are constantly checking your body for signs of illness. You remember, My children were little, and I would literally take all of my clothes off and go into my formal living room and measure moles. I have a nursing background, which makes it even tougher. Of course, that's why I don't do nursing anymore, because I always joke that I would literally be in a mental institution. Because I tend to, if I hear that somebody has something, I tend to then start thinking that I have it. So it wasn't really a good career choice for me. However, if you are checking your body for signs of things, again, like I said, I was checking for moles. I thought I had skin cancer. I was going in and measuring them. And it kind of sucks whenever you understand disease process and illness process, because then you really think you have it. Frequently visiting doctors and emergency rooms for medical reassurance. That was me as well. I no longer do this, I'm proud to say, but I would literally go to the ER. As I've talked about, I was there 26 times in a month. There were times when I would be so worried that I was going to have a heart attack that I would drive after I dropped my kids off from school and sit in MedExpress parking lot so that I would be there if I needed the doctor, right? Like that's insanity, but that is what it can do. It can consume your mind. I was never one that avoided activities or for fear of health risks. I'm kind of that's what's so odd about me, is that I suffer from these things, but I am an outgoing person. And I'm a social person. So, but a lot of people do. If they feel that, maybe they're into rock climbing, like Justin, or behind the scenes someplace, Sunny, my assistant, love him. You're gonna meet him someday. He loves to rock climb. So he doesn't suffer from this. But a lot of people who like to rock climb, and then this comes on, they may feel like they're gonna have a heart attack if they go rock climbing, or depending on what symptoms you have. Because I've thought I could sit here and name probably 80 illnesses that I have, fatal illnesses that I've been dying from over the last 24 years. So a lot of people will do that. Obsessively researching symptoms online. Guys, I look back now, and I wasted so much time whenever my children were little. Whenever we were building our home, we lived in a house behind my parents. And I just remember sitting on that computer for hours and hours and hours looking up things. And what happens is, guys, you can look up death from water. You could look up death from aspirin, and you are gonna find it if you look for it long enough and hard enough, right? So the good things would come up, the things that didn't relate to me, and I would keep digging and searching and digging and searching until I found something that I could relate to. And that is what this illness does. Feeling distressed despite negative tests. Again, whenever I was going to the ER a lot, my insurance would not cover a stress test, because all of the other heart problems, the heart test had all come back normal, so they wouldn't cover it at the time. And I literally paid out of pocket to go to a cardiologist and have a stress test, because that is how certain I was that I had health issues and that it was not anxiety. So if any of this sounds familiar to you, you're not alone. Many people experience these symptoms, and it's important to understand that it is a real and manageable condition. So now let's talk about the causes of health anxiety. It can stem from several factors, such as past experiences with illnesses, family history, or even generalized anxiety can cause it. For me, it started I didn't know why it started in the beginning. I just woke up one night when my little boy was probably 6 months old, never had any type of anxiety in my life. I was in my late 20s, and I woke up one night in a panic thinking that I was having a heart attack, and it hasn't stopped since. And that was, again, he just turned 25. So through years and years and years of therapy and meditation, and my self-healing journey, and just all the things that I am doing because I am not letting this define or beat me. We, with several psychologists, have come to the conclusion that mine started, unfortunately, my husband's family, there was a tragedy. And growing up, I never knew anyone without a mother. Never. I think about it, and I can't think of one person that I went to school with that did not have a mother. And there were 2 children, 6 and 8, and unfortunately their mother was murdered. And it didn't affect me at that time. I didn't have children then. But once I had children, something subconsciously from that and from seeing, because they went from like a really good life to a not so good life. Both of their parents were gone. They were living with grandparents who weren't the best of people. And from what I was very close to them, which made it tough. And I wanted them so badly. I wanted to take them and nurture them. And so I think that from what I understand from different psychologists, and what we've kind of drawn the conclusion is that something in my brain triggered, that episode triggered something in my subconscious to worry about having children and them not having a mother. So in turn, once I started having my babies, I have 3 of them, I projected that onto myself. And I was so afraid that something was going to happen to me and that I was going to get this fatal illness and that my children were going to have nobody to raise them. They weren't going to have a mother. And that is what triggered mine. And through therapy and self-reflection and meditation and yoga and reading and all the things that I do on a daily basis and that I have done for the last 24 years, along with therapy, we have come to that conclusion. So I'm a big proponent, and if you need medication, believe me, I've used medication several times over my journey. That's great, and it helps tremendously. But I don't feel that for health anxiety, taking a pill is going to get down to the root cause. I always describe it like a Band-Aid, where it will mask the symptoms. But me personally, and I recommend anybody that's suffering from this, you need to find ways to dive deep into what caused it to begin with. So, if you're confused, which a lot of people are, I read daily and get questions daily about people who don't really understand the difference between health anxiety and generalized anxiety. And I didn't. Whenever I got diagnosed with generalized anxiety, which came later, I was like, well, wait a second, I was already diagnosed with anxiety. What does this mean? So to help us understand, I reached out to someone very, very important to me. It's my current therapist. I've been in therapy for 24 years. This is my 3rd and final one. Unfortunately, my first one retired and my second one, unfortunately, passed away. So, but I see Steve every week and he is amazing. And this was his quote when I asked him to define the difference. He said, health anxiety is a specific type of anxiety focused on the fear of having a serious illness, while generalized anxiety disorder can manifest in various ways. Health anxiety is characterized by a persistent worry about health, often despite medical reassurance. Steve also mentioned the importance of saying that his quote is, "It is crucial to recognize that health anxiety is treatable. Cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, and medication can be effective in managing the symptoms." So hearing from him and other experts gives us valuable insights, and it's reassuring to know that we are not alone and that there are effective treatments available. If you're struggling with health anxiety, remember that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. living with health anxiety can be challenging, and I am living proof of that. I am very proud to say that now, through my journey, of the 3 diagnoses and the mental challenges that I have, this one is kind of on the back burner. That doesn't mean it's going to stay there, but I have learned to manage it far more and far better than I've yet to manage seasonal affective disorder or just generalized anxiety. And that's kind of an accomplishment, because from what I understand from therapists and in my studies, it is the hardest one to overcome. I just want everyone to know that there is hope. By understanding your symptoms, learning about the causes, seeking professional help, you can regain control of your life. And again, I am living proof of that. As far as this sector is concerned, it is not debilitating anymore. It is not taking power over me anymore. You are not alone in this journey. And here at Someplace Sunny, we are here to help you every step of the way. Thank you for sharing time with me today and being part of our community. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and share it with someone who may benefit from it. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Here at Someplace Sunny, we are all about sharing stories. Your story can empower so many people without you even realizing it. We are getting so much great feedback from those who maybe weren't ready to share their story, but they're resonating with someone else's, and it's giving them power and hope. I believe that none of us were put here to endure things for nothing. Every step of our journey and everything that we have went through in battles with mental health illness were done to us so that we can inspire and give hope to others. So again, www.someplacesunny.shop. We also have, if you haven't checked us out, check out our clothing brand. It is amazing. And what I wore today is the Flawed Brilliance from the Flawed Brilliance collection. And there's our Sun Girl. And I think this was a powerful and smart choice to wear today, because Flawed Brilliance celebrates the beauty of our imperfections. And just because we're struggling with mental health challenges or health anxiety does not make us, those imperfections make us who we are. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Each piece boldly declares that we're all works in progress. And it reminds us that there is brilliance in our imperfections. And it inspires us to see the perfections in the imperfections. So guys, thank you for spending time with me today. Again, this is going to be a 5-part series on health anxiety, because there is just so much to talk about and so much that goes into this illness that so many of us suffer from. Also, while you're over at our site, you can check out the Someplace Sunny Foundation. We donate 5% of all sales to the foundation, and that foundation is here as we move forward to help those suffering by providing resources and help where it's needed most. So every time you purchase an article of clothing, you are in fact donating to an amazing cause. So stay sunny, Sunseekers, and continue to shine. Until next time, remember, find your Someplace Sunny and take yourself there. It is truly where freedom and happiness reside.